Hello everyone, I'm Stefano Denkovici with Group 2. Blake, Zach, Kenny and I are going to introduce the Handyman Services Incorporated website to you. Here's our agenda. The main points follow pretty much the structure of an IT project. We're going to talk about the scenario and the business justification. We're going to go through the requirements. We're going to tell you a little bit about the design. We're going to let you know how we identify the best hosting solution and the best open source application solution. And at the end, Blake is going to walk you through the website. I'm going to turn it over to Kenny for the scenario description and the business justification.
For our business scenario, we created a website that will promote our services, include a form for our customers to request services, and also provide a scheduling interface. For the business justification, we know that there are individuals that desire repairs or upgrades around their homes. So the website provides an easy way to schedule an appointment with a handyman. The website also provides advertising and marketing for our business. Now here is Zach with the requirements.
Thanks, Kenny. So when we look at our functional requirements, we have to keep in mind the simplicity of our website. There's not a lot of needs for our website since it's not all that expansive as of now. So some of the key features we were looking at was maximum uptime, 24/7 technical support, of course a clear and accurate depiction of all of our services that we offer to our customers. We're looking for fair and consistent pricing on all of those services, as well as some basic user interactivity. We want to have some fully customizable color schemes, a contact form where the customers can reach out and contact us directly, and of course we're looking for future expansion for maybe some payment processing options in the future. The second piece of the requirements we're going to look for is part of the interface. We want it to be easy and user-friendly for our customers when they're coming to inquire about services that we offer. So we want the interface to be convenient. The hardware for our site, again, the site is not very large, but we do want to look at some of the best site solutions, so we'll talk about that in a minute. The software, again, will be talked about in some of our open source application discussions, which Stephen will go through here in a minute. And another big key piece here, especially with some of our expansion for payment processing, is going to be security and privacy. We're thinking of installing a third-party virus protection program. In addition, create some access by user roles or types, again, to limit the access to some of that payment information in the future. Now, some of the design elements that went into the site, we really wanted to focus on a couple of different areas. We're looking at a horizontal menu across the top. This is going to provide some easy-to-find, quick links for customers to click on. Some of the services that Handyman Services offers is electrical work, carpentry, heating and cooling, plumbing, and then oddball jobs like painting or repair. Along the left-hand side of the website, you'll notice that there's some more interactive type pages, such as the login screen. A customer can actually create an account or even schedule a service call. So as I mentioned earlier, we were looking at some of the selections for our web hosting options. In this case, the initial selection criteria was very, very basic. Again, this is not a very large website. We're primarily focused on cost. Again, security is a key piece here. Availability and data volume. So with that said, some of the initial 5 hosting companies that we kind of narrowed down and compared were Web Hosting Hub, iPage, InMotion, Green Geeks, and WPDP Engine. Now, when we compared all these, we actually based them on nearly 50 different topics. Again, the website doesn't need that many, but we were being very detailed in what we decided to use. For our website, we found the best one was webhostinghub.com. We felt that they offered attractive pricing, great live customer support. They allow for PayPal integration, again, for the payment processing in the future. And of course, there's room for expansion. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on to Stephen now. Stefan, go ahead and take away.
Thank you, Zach. So here's how we selected the open source software. We came up with some initial criteria. The most important of it was the capability of the application to handle any type of website, because the development and the design were done pretty much at the same time. So we were not aware of the complexity of the website at the time when we started the development. We also wanted the open source software to be highly rated by the developers community. So that led to us choosing 4 applications, and they were Joomla, CO Toaster, Concrete 5.5, and WordPress. Next, we performed an evaluation based on a matrix of industry-wide type of criteria provided by the CMS matrix, and Joomla and WordPress were the winners, and the final decision had to be made between these two, and we went back to our initial criteria that continued to be the most important ones, and based on the ratings and web design capability, we chose Joomla. And now I'm going to turn it over to Blake, who's going to walk you through the website.
The installation process of Joomla was pretty straightforward. What we needed to first do was download the zip file off of the Joomla website, which we did here at joomla.org. Then what we did was copied the unzipped package and folder, all the files and contents within that folder, directly into our FTP server, the folder on that. So as you can see here on the right, there are a series of folders, and most of this was contained in that zip file. There were some custom files that we added in after the fact, but the majority of this came with the Joomla installation. Going back after the fact, it's hard to show you the exact installation process, but once we copied the file over and went to the site, the main site page, it had us walk through the rest of the setup where it asked for information such as this. What we did was provided mainly the MySQL information for the database that we created on the MySQL database for the class. So we created our own database called Plumbing and then installed the application within that directory. So the installation process, once we submitted it, it created all the tables needed for the application with this prefix here. Once the installation was done, we set up a user account for everybody so that everybody could modify the site. And this is the initial screen that we would see when we logged in, was the administrative dashboard. Now what I can do is walk you through some of the main changes that we did in order to create the site. As I had mentioned, we created users so that everybody could modify the files. We did that in this directory. So as you can see, we have users for every person that was in the group. One of the main components in Joomla is the menu manager. There are different categories for each menu. As you can see here, there's a menu called Top, which when you click on it has submenus that we created. Each of these items then links to a particular page. Pages in Joomla are actually called articles. So in order to create a menu, you first need to create an article, and then you can link that menu to that article. As you can see here, there is a menu title in the top menu that's called About Us. So if we go to the home page, you can see there is an About Us button, which links to the About Us page. Each article that we link to is primarily displayed in the middle of the screen. There are other articles that you can put on the outside depending on what you want to do, and you can change the format of this as well. So that was one of the main things to keep in mind, is that you needed to know the layout of the site so that you could design your articles appropriately. Some of the other components of Joomla that we utilized were the module manager, the plugin manager, the template manager, and then also category manager, which is where we created our site and the corresponding categories. Most of this was stuff that was in there by default, but we created a subcategory called the handyman site, which is where we inserted all of our website content below. So now what I can do is walk you through the site and some of the customizations and modifications that we made. The default template that we had was not one that we really liked completely, so there were minor modifications that we did, such as modifying the PHP and CSS code to remove the search box here that was by default in the upper right hand corner. We also added in social media links to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so forth in order for our customers to be more in touch with us. We tried to add a decent amount of graphics into the site on all the pages, but not make it too cluttered, to keep the site layout fairly simple and straightforward. We created a custom logo that had to be inserted into the PHP coding as well. That was probably one of the main challenges of the site, was that we, in order to really do customizations, you had to get your hands dirty and actually modify some of the PHP code. But as you can see here, this is our main site. The left-hand side, we have a little section that customers would primarily use to schedule service calls, to view the history of their services, to create an account if they're a new customer, which I'll go ahead and click on. So as you can see, and this is something that you might not have noticed, was that some of these frames follow the user as they navigate across the site. One of the ones that we felt was most important was the Contact Us section. So we created a frame for that and had that displayed on every page, so that no matter where they are on the site, they have our contact information right at hand and know how to get a hold of us and when they can get a hold of us. So this is the user creation page where new customers can create their account. So let's go ahead and walk through that. Say my name is new customer. Now you'll notice here at the bottom is a CAPTCHA form that was not part of the site initially. We actually integrated this. Google runs a service called reCAPTCHA that handles this. So we integrated with Google to make sure that there aren't any bots or people trying to abuse our user creation system. Some of the other notable changes that we did to the website were with the addition of a site feedback form so that customers could submit feedback for the site. Also, we created a form for scheduling service calls. So if you're a customer and you want to schedule service with our company, you would insert your contact information, choose the best time that it would be to contact you, and then choose when you want your service performed, as well as describing the services. You would then submit this, and we would be notified of it. If we go to the About Us page, we also tried to include information that customers might care about, such as what we guarantee to do, our staff. As you can see here, we have our CEO, our electrician, our plumber, and contractor, and information on each one of them, and then also customer testimonials. Most of our lessons learned throughout the project involved the choice of the web host. Our current one for the class, we didn't have much of an option, but one of the things that we really learned was that it would be important to look at your web host and make sure that you would have the proper control over your site, more so on the back end. Most of our issues that arose and that took up most of our time were the fact that we didn't have the proper permissions for the file system, as well as more on the configuration side. So this really created stumbling blocks, is that we wanted to apply custom templates, we wanted to make certain configurations, and even something as simple as uploading an image didn't work through the Joomla interface because we didn't have the appropriate permissions. So this would probably be something that would be easier if we had chosen the right host, but that wasn't something that we were able to do at the point. So as a lesson learned, that's really the main thing that we learned. Other than that, there was a sort of a learning curve with Joomla, but other than that, it was ultimately a good experience.